Let's start with the vertical asymptotes. We say that a rational function, r of x, in lowest terms. I cannot express this strongly enough. That means you have to simplify first. So a rational function, r of x, in lowest terms will have a vertical asymptote, x equals r, if r is a real zero of the denominator. We talked about the real zeros. So now we're looking at the real zeros of the denominator. So the first step then is to write the rational function in lowest terms. Why don't you go ahead and simplify that function? Now that we've done that, we want to find the real zeros of the denominator. So what makes the denominator equal 0? Now notice that we're saying equals 0. That's because we're finding the vertical asymptote. If we were finding the domain, we were looking for restrictions where the denominator cannot equal 0. But now that we're finding an asymptote, the equation is equal to 0, and I see that x equals 1 is our vertical asymptote. Again, we have an equation. Let's just talk for a moment about this value here. We know that x plus 3 cannot equal 0. This will just give us a hole in our graph, but it doesn't give us an asymptote. Find the equation for the vertical asymptote of this rational function. So we simplified the function first, and then we let the denominator equal to 0, which gave us the equation for our vertical asymptote, x equals -1/2. If we look here, we see that at x cannot equal +1/2, this would give us a hole in our graph.